Welcome to Microsoft SQL Databases from start to finish. This is the introductory lesson, and I am Tim Corey. So what's this course all about? Well, let's jump right into the objectives. So by the end of this course, you'll be real-world equipped to install SQL Server, build an entire database, and operate that database. Now that's a lot to take in, but I want you to take a step back and look at that for a minute. This is my goal for you. This is what I want to achieve, what I want to see you achieve. The first thing I want to point out is real world. And this is what bugs me about a lot of tutorials out there, is that they show you something and you go, wow, I'm learning something. And then you try to actually do something a little bit different in the real world and you find you just don't understand how it works. And so I want to teach you real world information. That means that you'll be able to take what I teach you and modify it for your environment or for your instance or application that you want to do. So that's the first thing. Next, I'm not going to start from writing building tables or putting information in tables. I think that part of the process is just too late. I actually saw a review on one course where the reviewer said, I really loved your course, but I couldn't start it for about 6 weeks until I figured out how to install SQL Server. That's just disappointing. And so I don't want to start there. I want to start from the very beginning where you have your machine and it has nothing on it and you have no knowledge of even what SQL is. I want to take you from there to be able to be a junior level DBA, a database administrator, or someone who can build databases either just for fun or to store information or as a supplement for your development. Maybe your .NET development or your C# development, whatever that may be. So that's my goal for you. So let's start off with the first question that's probably on your mind. What is a SQL database? Now, maybe you know this already because you obviously bought this course, but let's start from the very beginning and say that a SQL database is a system that stores information in an efficient manner. Now, that's a pretty simple explanation, but let's look at it this way. Think about Microsoft Excel. That stores data. Is that the same as a SQL database? Well, no. And there's a couple reasons why. One is that it does not store data efficiently. Okay, we'll also get into other reasons why in a minute, but for now, that's one of the reasons why Excel is not a SQL database. So efficiency is very important to a database. Now, a database holds all this different pieces of data together. Now, what type of SQL databases are out there? Well, we're talking about Microsoft SQL Server databases, but there's also MySQL and SQLite and others. So what is the difference between these different versions? Well, they are different and there's different purposes for each. For example, Microsoft SQL Server right now is about third in the database market. And you may say, man, well, why are we even learning SQL, Microsoft SQL, when we could be learning the number one product or the number two product? Well, the number two product is right below it. MySQL, and that's an open source database engine. It's not really as powerful as Microsoft SQL Server. It's not as efficient, and it doesn't have the same options as the Microsoft SQL Server does. But the benefit there is it's free even for production use. And that's used a lot in the open source system. So for example, your websites that are hosted, probably they run MySQL. So it's free, so therefore it's really easy to put up in production, and it's easy for those cheap hosts, and really for everybody. Now the number one is Oracle. Now I don't deal with Oracle that much. In fact, I try to avoid it whenever possible. Oracle is put out by the same company that does MySQL. MySQL is the free open source database platform for them, whereas the Oracle platform is their closed source, proprietary, and very, very expensive database system. And that's typically used in very large companies. They're also the company that puts out Java. And so Java and Oracle play well together. So the owner of the Windows space is Microsoft SQL Server. Microsoft SQL Server is actually the fastest growing database platform out there as of 2016, at the end of 2016. So now it doesn't mean that they are necessarily huge. They're still only third, but they are a very solid third. And for my purposes as a .NET developer, they are the #1 platform because of their integrations. Now, there's another benefit here in that Microsoft SQL Server is actually free for developers. And that's huge. So let's go and talk a little more about why Microsoft SQL Server is the one we chose. So Microsoft SQL Server, or MS SQL, is a powerful database and it's used throughout the world. But one of the benefits is its relationality. So it's relational. And let's get back to our Excel example for a minute. Think about Excel and you're putting information in Excel. Maybe you're putting people's names. Now, what if you want to put a person's address? Well, you probably put it in the next column to the right of their name. My goal for you is I want you to feel comfortable and relaxed when it comes to dealing with SQL Server. So, with that being said, let's jump right into our next lesson.